Hello, my name is Brittany Jones, and my research project is on Marilyn da Silva. Don't know how to say it, but we're gonna move on. So basically, she does a lot of very interesting work. She has a lot of imagery that tells stories, stuff like that. Her work has been displayed in a lot of different places nationally and internationally, including the Victoria and Albert Museum in London and the National Gallery of Australia. She's represented in public and private collections. She's also featured in numerous books, magazines, and catalogs. She was invited to be Master Metalsmith 1999 by the National Ornamental Metal Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. She recently received the honor of being selected as a fellow American Craft Council. She is also a professor and program chair of the Jewelry and Metal Arts Department at California College of Arts in Oakland, where she's taught since 1987. Before moving to California, she taught from 1978 to 1987 at Bowling Green State University in Ohio. She earned her MFA in Jewelry Design and Metalsmithing at Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana, and her BS in Art Education at Bowling Green State University. So here is some of her work. The next many slides are going to be just showing off some of her work that I thought was really interesting. This piece is really captivating because she used a disarmed gun, a deactivated gun, as the base for this piece. And on her website, she also included this poem along with it. I think that's extremely interesting that she took something as dangerous as a gun and transformed it into this bird-like figure, which a lot of her work actually uses bird imagery, which I find really funny, almost. This one's another really good one. I think it's adorable and funny, and it's really cute. Like, a lot of her work is really cute and playful. So we can scroll through some more of these. This one is House of Cards. I think it's also really interesting and really funny. And I do like in her work that she actually makes the base of the work the shadow of whatever figure that she chose. So at the bottom of this one, you can see it's like an elongated shadow of the bird's wing, which is really interesting that she's able to capture that in her pieces. This one's also really funny. She does a lot of sculptural work, like the past few ones that we've seen. She also does jewelry, which is something that I'm personally more interested in. So here are some brooches that she did on various birds. And I think they're really pretty. The detail on like the flowers and leaves is really nice. Also, in a lot of her work, she uses gesso and colored pencils, which I think is really nice to show the versatility that metal can have. These ones are very gorgeous. These are tiaras, actually, that are in a private collection, again with gesso and colored pencils. These ones are probably my favorite because I feel like my work kind of relates back to this in some way. But they're really beautiful. She also does like vessels and vases. Here's one of her vases that she's done. Again, gesso, colored pencil. Here's another one. I like that the heads are kind of poking through. Very beautiful. She's also, with vessels, she does some teapots, and I think this one's really funny because she has a tea set within a teapot, and it's like the bird's tea party. It's really cute, and very creative. This is a chalice. She's done a few chalices, and the organic forms on this are just incredible to look at. They're very beautiful, and I would love to take inspiration from this. And it's just really well done. She also has a lot of work where she's using like books and different found objects like this, and I think this is a really good sculptural piece. A lot of her work is very sculptural, which I think is really cool and really pretty to look at, and all of her work has a lot of detail and it really draws you in. So her artistic process, I've mentioned this before, but she uses a lot of bird imagery in her work to tell a story. And her approach to metal is very interesting because it seems like she's trying to hide the fact that it is metal because of the surface treatment she leans towards. Using gesso and colored pencils, it kind of hides the metal and makes it seem very painterly, like she took like a landscape painting or natural paintings and like put it on metal into a 3D object, which I think is really cool. And if anybody's taken color and surface, this is something that you would explore in that class, and you are able to attempt like the gesso and colored pencils and paints on metal, and I think it is a really cool surface treatment of metal. Artists who relate to this artist in some kind of way. Julia here had some works that kind of reminded me of some of the birds that Marilyn did. And I think that's really the only connection that I can make with this artist. But I just liked the imagery and how it's trying to tell a story within the multiples and how it's displayed. Similar to how the shadows in Marilyn's work are part of the work. It seems the shadows here are part of the work, though the shadows are cast and not actually made into the object, but I still think that those play a role. So another artist who you might recognize, James Thurman, reminds me of Marilyn because of the color work on his pieces. I found some that I thought were very interesting looking. I, of course, picked one that had some sort of bird imagery on it to try and play with that a little bit. But like the surface treatment, like the colors and stuff is what really drawed me towards choosing James to mention in this. And I just really like the surface treatment on his work, and it does remind me of Marilyn's. Another artist is Chunji Chu. Don't think I said that right at all, and I'm sorry. But here's some of her work that was on the university's website that she was a professor at. But there was no titles or anything listed for these. But again, with the bird imagery and the natural forms and like I don't think she used colored pencils on that piece, but the coloring just reminded me of some of Marilyn's work, just playing with metal and colors, and that like more sculptural-esque thing. Thank you for listening to my giant spiel.